I never liked the sound of gravel under unfamiliar tires, and if you've ever lived near a quiet lake, you know exactly what I mean. It's a sound that doesn't belong, sharp and out of place, like someone dragging a metal rake across a stone floor at dawn. So when those SUVs rolled up that morning, polished to the point you could probably see your regrets in the door panels, I knew right away something was off. They pulled in like they owned the place, like I was just an old man squatting on borrowed land. And that was their first mistake. The sun was barely up, the fog still drifting over Lake St. Mary, and I was in the kitchen pouring coffee into my battered steel mug, same one I'd used every morning since I hung up my badge. The lake shimmered behind the porch, silver blue and quiet, the way I like it. But I saw them through the curtain, a parade of black SUVs, official seals glaring from their doors, Millwood Reserve HOA. No warning, no call ahead. Just 3 men in corporate black, all sporting those smug little HOA logos stitched over their hearts, like a badge made them king of the shoreline. One headed for the dock, like he was casing the place. Another started snapping photos of my porch. And the tallest one, clipboard in hand, marched up like he was here to sell me a timeshare. "Mio Davenport?" he asked, voice way too casual, like we'd met at a cookout. "That's my name, and this is my land." I shot back, not moving an inch. He tried handing me a folder, full market value for my property, plus some relocation cash, like I should be grateful they'd thought of me. He actually smiled, the way you might at a dog you're trying to trick into the car for a vet visit. I didn't take the folder. Didn't have to. "You've got about 30 seconds to leave," I said, and I made sure my voice left no room for misunderstanding. I told them straight, "This house isn't in your HOA. Wasn't, never will be." I pointed at the camera blinking red above the porch, old habit from a lifetime ago. That got their attention. They left eventually, but not in any hurry. The guy by the dock took his time, scanning the place like he was marking territory. I didn't touch my coffee again that morning. Just watched the road until they were gone. Next day, envelope taped to my gate, dead center, like a sheriff's notice from the Wild West. Inside, legal notice. Intent to purchase under community expansion easement. 7 pages, official seals, a map with my place outlined in red, legalese thicker than Maine fog. They quoted some fake agreement, 2018 community development, all that jazz. Trouble was, I'd seen these tricks before, back when my job was sniffing out fraudulent land grabs for the state. They were trying to play me with the same old deck. I copied everything, scanned, time-stamped, muscle memory from years of chasing scams. Then I called Reed, an old buddy down in Augusta who owed me a few favors and some whiskey. He said he'd check the docs for fraud and not to ask any dumb questions. That's what I love about Reed. I took a walk around my property, needed to clear my head, you know? That's when I spotted them. 3 yellow X's spray painted where they didn't belong. One on a boulder near the water, another at the dock, one out in the woods. Industrial paint, neat stencils. These weren't random. These were survey markers, the kind you use when you're planning to carve up land for new construction. And I sure as hell hadn't authorized any survey. Later that day, I found a letter from the county tax office, claimed my property value had jumped by 430% because of pending commercial integration. That right there could bankrupt any retiree. I called the real assessment office. The clerk got real quiet. Turns out, no reassessment had ever been filed. "Does it have a gray triangle watermark?" he asked. I said yes. He sighed, said I was the 3rd this month. That night, I installed new cameras under the dock and by the boat shack. I barely slept. Around 2:40 a.m., I saw headlights slow roll along the tree line. No plates, just dark glass. Then, just after 3, someone broke the lock on my shack. Didn't take a thing, just taped a note to the inside of the door. "You can still sell." That's when I knew. This wasn't about a neighborly buyout. This was a shakedown. So I did what I used to do best. Pulled every drive from every camera, built a war room out of the guest bedroom. Printed stills, ran plates, enhanced faces. One SUV, expired registration. The other? Didn't even exist, erased from DMV records years ago. That's not typical HOA muscle. That's professional. I combed through the paperwork they'd left me. The legal templates, they matched a California firm I'd busted for forgery years back. Blacktail Urban LLC, crooked as a dog's hind leg. I called Reed again, told him to run license checks on everyone listed in their paperwork. He didn't even ask why. Then I drove out to the so-called expansion fund office. Just a co-working space, the kind where nobody asks too many questions. Turns out, the fund was a shell. Fake numbers, disconnected lines, no mail, no people. Ghosts. Reed called me back. The guy who'd handed me the offer, Kyle Marin, ex-realtor, license pulled for coercion and document fraud. The photographer? Brady Ellison, no license, just a family connection to Millwood's VP. The dock inspector? Ray Carpel, did 2 years for impersonating a zoning official in New York. This wasn't an HOA problem. This was a crew, freelancing under the association's name, trying to muscle me out. I started recording everything, narrating notes like it was a fresh case. That's when things escalated. Next morning, a white pickup, Department of Environmental Protection, pulled up, official as can be. 2 guys, legit, said they'd gotten a citizen complaint about chemical runoff from my land. I let them check the dock. They found a blue barrel, unmarked, half buried under tarp and netting. I'd never seen it before. They tested it. No smell, no color, just residue. I asked them to check for marks underneath. Sure enough, the barrel had been moved there recently. I pulled my new camera footage, found the frame. Someone in a hoodie rolled the barrel off a handcart at 4:37 a.m. Millwood Reserve logo on the back, clear as day. Planted evidence, meant to set me up. I called Sandra, a private investigator I trust. She jumped in, brought in her own lab guy. Results came back, residue from commercial tree clearance compounds, stuff Millwood had used for their own development, not mine. Meanwhile, some local blogs started pushing stories about environmental risks on aging lake homes. Guess whose address got mentioned? So I decided to fight dirty. We cooked up a little memo, fake, but oh so believable, about Millwood planning to sell the lakefront to an international investment group. Leaked it to a local blog, watched the panic spread like gasoline on a campfire. HOA board chats lit up, whispers of who leaked this, and is Davenport behind it. Even caught a VP meeting a lawyer 2 towns over, folder in hand, sweating bullets. And then came Justin, a young attorney, smart, and just cynical enough to get the job done. Sandra planted him as a community volunteer. He played his part, kept his mouth shut, and soon he was sitting in on HOA meetings, collecting memos, listening to all the quiet threats. He learned they had lists, my property and 2 neighbors, marked as priority acquisitions. Justin recorded everything, especially when he heard them planning to fake a violation against me. That was the last straw. We put it all together. Forged notices, planted barrels, tax scams, internal memos. Sandra filed a cease and desist, named names, and dropped the bomb on the county, the environmental agency, and the FTC. That's when Millwood went on the attack, accused me of defamation, obstruction, said I was stoking anti-foreign sentiment. I wiped with their letter, mailed it back, and kept moving. But Justin's secret recording was the real nail. A voice, Dale Ingram, HOA VP, saying, he can be broken like the rest. We'll bury him in paper and bleed him out until he folds. We took it all to court. 3 neighbors, 3 claims, 1 goal, drag them into the light. Sandra shredded them on the stand. The judge heard the tapes, saw the fake docs, and kicked the whole thing up to the Attorney General and federal land use fraud investigators. Next thing I knew, the story went national. Newspapers ran with it. State regulators started sniffing around every Millwood deal for the past decade. The FTC and federal prosecutors circled like hawks. Then came the RICO charges, racketeering, conspiracy, falsified documents, you name it. Board president indicted. Vice president flipped. The crew, Carpel, Ellison, got years behind bars. HOA dissolved, assets liquidated, and the 3 of us got a settlement. Not life-changing, but enough to fix the porch, buy some peace. For a while, the lake was quiet again. October leaves scattered gold and red along the ridge. I rebuilt the dock, replaced the locks, finally sat on the porch and drank coffee, without glancing over my shoulder. Sandra came by to say goodbye, off to fight another battle out west. Justin got 3 job offers from government agencies. I told him to pick the one that makes secrets sweat. But before I let myself relax, I filed a deed addendum with the county, legally nailing down that my property can't ever be annexed, folded into an HOA, or claimed under any development plan without my signature. Clerk asked if I was planning to sell. I just grinned and said, Not a chance. So here's the thing. After all that, fraud, intimidation, the works, I can finally wave to my neighbors, walk the lake, and know I'm standing on my own damn land. Not because someone let me, but because I fought for it. Yeah, that happened. Now, let me ask you, when it comes to your home, your land, where do you draw the line? Do you think HOAs have too much power? Would you stand your ground? Or just sign the damn paper and walk away? I want to hear your story. Drop a comment, share your thoughts, tell me where you'd stand. Because sometimes, the only way to keep your peace is to fight like hell for it.